It's hard to believe it, but the holiday season is already here and no holiday spread is complete without some sort of potato recipe. Luckily for you, by the end of this video, you're gonna know which one you wanna make, and honestly, you might wanna make all three. Meet me in the kitchen, let's make it happen. All right, first things first, for the potato trio we got today, I'm starting with my sweet potato casserole. This recipe smokes Ruth Chris. First thing we wanna do is go ahead and chop our potatoes. We're gonna come into bite-sized pieces, boil them until they're tender, then we're gonna mash them up. Now, if you're really an overachiever, you can pop these sweet potatoes in the oven. That's gonna retain a little bit of the extra natural sugar, a little bit more flavor too. But it's Thanksgiving, you're in a pinch for time. Nothing wrong with boiling them if you have to. Now, as you guys already know, potatoes are a root vegetable. They're always pretty dirty. So you wanna make sure you clean them nicely. Just get in there with your hands, give them a little massage, run the water over them a few times until they're nice and clean and that water runs clear. That's for your sweet potatoes, any potatoes you're cooking. So while our potatoes are boiling and getting nice and tender, we're gonna go ahead and get our topping together. So for that, we need some crushed pecans, 1 cup of brown sugar, a 1/2 cup of all-purpose flour, and 5 tablespoons of melted butter. Again, for any of you guys that have eaten at Ruth Chris, this is a very popular dish there. It's also a very, very popular dish for Thanksgiving and kind of like a Southern casserole anyway. Good alternative to candied yams if you're getting tired of those, which you might be crazy if you're getting tired of those, but this is a good switch up. I actually might like these just as much as candied yams, honestly. Now, if you don't like nuts or you have a nut allergy, you can use marshmallows as your topping, but for the rest of us, AKA God's favorites, we're gonna go ahead and use this pecan topping because we don't have nut allergies.
And this episode is sponsored by Bespoke Post. Bespoke Post is a monthly membership club delivering awesome boxes of top shelf goods from under the radar brands. Beyond its subscription boxes, Bespoke Post allows you to purchase individual items ranging from outdoor gear, barware, home and kitchen goods, clothing, and more, all on the brand site under the shop. Today I'm going to highlight the Marcellin cast iron collection from Bespoke Post. For those who don't know, cast iron has gained popularity in cooking because of its numerous advantages, including its naturally non-stick, durability, and heat retaining qualities. Marcellin has just come out with its own line of cast iron cookware that is the perfect blend of quality and affordability. Let me show you what I got. This skillet is ideal for frying, searing, or building up a sauce. The pre-seasoned polished cooking surface develops a rich patina with time and keeps bits of food from sticking. Pre-seasoned with vegetable oil, this cast iron skillet keeps food from sticking together and develops rich patina over time. Oven safe up to 500 degrees. It's compatible with all kitchen heat sources, even grills and open flames. Not to mention it's safe to use with metal utensils. It's a perfect gift to the chefs in your life ahead of the holidays. I'm gonna tell you guys, I've used a ton of different cast iron skillets, and this one by far is one of my absolute favorites. So give it a try today to support the channel and to get your own cast iron skillet. Click the link in the description box or go to bespokepost.com/makeithappen.
Well, that's what you're looking for right there. A nice coarse crumble-like consistency. This is gonna add some texture to your casserole, a little bit more sweetness. Can't go wrong. Last but not least, just a little pinch of salt just to wake everything up. And then we'll set that aside until our potatoes are ready. All right, so once the sweet potatoes are nice and tender, we're gonna break out the hand masher. It worked for Granny, it'll work for us. Just get in there and give it a good hand mash. You can break out the hand blender if you wanna be cute, but if they're boiled properly and they're nice and tender, won't take much effort. Next, we're going in with 5 tablespoons of room temperature or melted butter. If it's room temperature, it'll just melt right on in there with the hot sweet potatoes. I'm gonna go ahead and add that to the party, along with 1 cup of white sugar and 1 cup of brown sugar. I just mixed them together in a bowl because they're all going to the same spot. At this point, I'm just gonna get in there with my spatula here and give everything a good thorough mix. Ensure that that butter is well incorporated and combined. Make sure that it melts nicely, which it is. And then we'll start adding the rest of our ingredients. Now, just to thicken things up a little bit, we're going in with 2 tablespoons of all-purpose flour, which I'm gonna eyeball and get a little bit on the counter for good measure. Next up, we're gonna add our vanilla extract. We're also gonna add some butter extract. Trust me on this one. About a 1/4 teaspoon of that. Then we're gonna add a little nutmeg. Remember guys, a little bit goes a long way, so don't go too crazy with that. And plenty of cinnamon. Can't have candied yams or sweet potato casserole, sweet potato pie without lots of cinnamon. As always guys, the specific measurements and ingredients are provided for you down below, so don't forget to check that out. Wake everything up with a little pinch of salt. And then, just to add a little citrus note to the back end, we got some orange zest. What I like about the zest is you get all of the flavor without too much acid. So it's not overpowering, but you kind of get the subtle note of flavor on the back. So the key here, guys, is to taste as you go and adjust the flavor to your preference. Before you add the eggs, you want to make sure that this tastes right. If not, you can adjust it if needed, add a little bit more sugar if you need to. Once you add the eggs in there, you don't want to taste it again until it's fully cooked. So now that we got the topping done, we got our sweet potatoes ready, we're going into a casserole. That's going to go into the oven at 350 for about 30-35 minutes. All right, guys, so for the smashed potato recipe, we're gonna go ahead and get our fingerling potatoes boiling until they're tender, but not so tender that they're falling apart. Then we smash them, coat them in some oil and seasoning, and roast them in the oven until they're nice and crispy. We're gonna go ahead and add some salt to our water to boil these. Start getting the flavor party started early. All right, guys, so you've probably seen this on TikTok already. If not, you might live under a rock, but it's actually a really good technique. So we're gonna boil them until they're just about fork tender, then we're gonna smash them and roast them. Before we smash them and roast them, we're gonna hit them with some oil, olive oil, avocado oil, something like that. And then I'm gonna season it with my AP seasoning and some garlic, butter, and herb seasoning, perfect for potatoes. Another thing that I like to use, especially during the holiday time, is some truffle. So if you got some truffle oil and you like the flavor, go ahead and add a touch of that as well. So once you got them seasoned to perfection, the next step is to get them on a parchment lined or foil lined baking sheet. And then we're gonna smash them. Some people say they hate truffle. I don't understand. I smell truffle at the restaurant, I immediately get excited. Burning my fingers a little bit here. It's probably a smarter way to go about this, but here we are. So no flavor left behind. We're gonna take that excess oil and seasoning from the pot and go ahead and douse those potatoes with that. You're gonna put those in a 425-degree oven for about 10 to 15 minutes or until they're golden brown and crispy. And last but not least, my friends, it is time for the tried and true mashed potato recipe. It's a staple, weeknight dinner, Thanksgiving, Christmas, doesn't matter. It's a classic. I'm gonna show you how I do mine. A couple key things to avoid. A lot of people add their butter and cream mixture to the potatoes while it's cold. I like to warm mine up and make it like a sauce. We're gonna go ahead and dice up our potatoes, boil them, get them nice and tender, hit them with that sauce, make our mashed potatoes. All right, so we got about a half a stick of butter here melting for our mashed potato. We're gonna go ahead and add in 2 cups of heavy cream. It's the holidays, everything needs about a stick of butter and some heavy cream, right? So we're gonna get that going, allow that to start to warm up, and then my personal secret ingredient is this right here. Boursin garlic and herb cheese is phenomenal in potatoes. So we're gonna add that, about 2.5 ounces of that. They come in 5-ounce blocks, so you don't need to use the whole thing. You save the rest for your charcuterie. Pro tip right there, a little charcuterie board at Thanksgiving. Make you look fancy. This is gonna add tons of flavor and creamy texture. Next up, to add to the creaminess of the potatoes, we're going in with about 2 tablespoons of sour cream. And then we're gonna begin to season this up. Very simple seasoning. I'm going with my all-purpose because there's a lot of flavor already in there from that Boursin cheese. And then you just want this to come together, taste it, make sure it tastes good. You know, taste as you go, adjust the flavor to your preference. I always say that. Once it tastes spot on, we're gonna add it to those potatoes, mash and whip them, and serve them up. All right, so once your potatoes are tender, we're gonna break out the hand masher like Grandma used to do. It worked for her, it'll work for you. Get in there and mash them up. Now, personally, I like my potatoes a little bit lumpy. If you want yours super smooth, you can put them through a potato ricer, or you can break out the hand mixer, but this is perfect for me. Once you got them nice and mashed up, in goes that amazing butter and cream mixture with the Boursin cheese. You can hit these with some Parmesan if you want to. Really, you can do whatever you want at this point. You can't miss if you follow these directions right here. Just add a little bit at a time. I'm making a little less than the actual recipe calls for, so you can feed a family with this recipe, but since we're making 3 varieties today, didn't want to go too crazy because your boy's already getting a little chunky. All right, so that, my friends, is perfect consistency on the mashed potatoes for me. A little bit lumpy, sturdy enough to hold up to that pot roast and gravy though, or whatever you decide to serve this with, whether it's turkey, ham, whatever, alongside a steak. That's a good mash. All right, so as you can see, we have the ultimate trio of potato recipes right here. It's time for my favorite part, which is the taste test. But before we do that, please take a quick second to subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit that bell to enable notifications as well. All right, my friends, I'm a sucker for a good mashed potato. And I'm starving, so these bites might be a little egregious, but don't get better than that. One of the things that I look forward to every holiday season, or anytime I go to Roof Chris, looks a little hot, very hot. My favorite part about this is you can really taste that orange zest. It's so good. Let me know in the comments which one of these three you intend to make, or if you got another potato recipe, throw that in the comments too. As if I didn't work hard enough. Last but not least,